Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folari. Okay, so this is the first time we're meeting on the program since we've closed down the Decision 2020. Well, not so much closed down. It's in recess. The Decision 2023 studio is in recess. Of course, it will come back up again as we move closer towards the 11th of March. And that's when, of course, we shall be taking on the second tranche of elections. And okay, so here we are. By now, the election has been fought and won, and certificates of returns have been issued. And so this morning, of course, everybody knows that the man of the moment is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the presidential candidate of APC, the ruling APC. So happy news to APC. APC is succeeding itself in office. Okay, sort of now looking at how did this feat come about? How easy or difficult? Most of you can answer that because you saw the man campaigning, that is, I'm talking about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his running mate. You saw them campaigning all over the country, and it was a grueling, just about back-breaking kind of a tour, but at the end of the day, you saw how both of them stood up to it very, very well. And now sort of to look at how has the journey been, the road to victory for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And our guest this morning is Bashir Madugu. Bashir Madugu is the special advisor on trade and investments to the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum. He's also a member of the APC Presidential Council. He's in our Abuja studio. A fine morning to you, Bashir Madugu.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. So first of all, I should say congratulations. Your party won at the polls. It's not over yet because there still are other elections to come out with the second half of the elections. But give me your impressions about how difficult or otherwise would you say it was?
Well, precisely, I have to admit that it's not an easy job, for the APC, looking at our circumstances. And the good thing is that right from the primaries, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we know has more potential to win the presidency for the party better than any other person. And this realization actually calmed me down, looking at his antecedents as somebody who knows Nigeria. He knows our diversity. He understands this country very well. He has been in politics for many, many years. I can say like 40 years or even more. And in the process, he has connected with a lot of people across the country, especially in the north and in the south. And he has good relations with many influential people, with the traditional institutions. He has backed so many titles, in so many towns and cities and villages and old traditional institutions. So it was quite, easy for us to sell him to the country, and his emergence as the candidate of the party of APC has reassured us that we will be able to make it. So, and the difficult question which lingered on for some time was the question of his deputy, being a Muslim himself, whether he will get a Christian or a Muslim running mate. That question actually bothered us even much more than who will emerge as the candidate. But then, at the end of the day, we had to make a decision, and he made a very good decision of identifying the correct candidate, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, to whom I was privileged to be an advisor for like 3 years, and whom I have known for many, many years, and whom I have known his connections as well, especially his views on the Nigerian nation, his liberal nature with respect to other ethnic groups and religions, and the fact that he is a detribalized, he is very, very, somebody that has reached out to communities that have been known to be hostile, accommodated them, brought them in. His governance in the first, his 8-year governance was actually bedeviled with the tragic insurgency. But then, he came up with a good plan, succession plan, and produced, and gave us a very good governor. And this guy, became the running mate of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It was easy to sell the two of them. This is somebody who has performed in Borno and who has records that can be attested to. And Asiwaju is somebody who, number one, is completely liberal as well, and who has performed in Lagos, and who has track records and who can be attested to. So they converged naturally in APC. This actually made things easy for us. But unfortunately, there were some disgruntled elements within the party that tried to divide the party along religious lines. But we thank God, we were able to stand firm, at least substantially, to produce victory for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And this is something that I'm really, really personally proud of. And our hope and belief is that as we go along with his liberal nature and the liberal nature of his vice, we are going to make the issue of religion in politics completely irrelevant, so that next time nobody will even think about whether this one is a Muslim or a Christian or any religion. So their combination is perfect for Nigeria, as it is.
Indeed. So congratulations.
Very easy said for us.
So congratulations again.
Thank you.
So as you said, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect, and his deputy, Kashim Shettima, they complement each other very well, both men of achievement. Yeah. Now, going forward now, elections, of course, passions will be high and that kind of. You spoke also about some schisms within the party. Hopefully, all of that is now water under the bridge. We've passed that stage. We're now just looking forward. I wanted you to talk briefly about, as I began to say, elections bring about schisms, and Asiwaju is one known for building structures and even relationships. So national cohesion has always been something very, very close to him. He's probably going to have to put on that cap about national cohesion. Whoever becomes the president is the president of all after the elections. Would you like to speak on that theme? Because there might have been some, you know how it is. People feeling, of course it has already been said that if there is any reason, if you are dissatisfied in any shape or form, of course you can approach the courts. But the man that you know, your leader, talk to me about national cohesion as a theme for him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Polarin. I have to say that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at the end of his first 4 years, will prove to Nigerians that religion is irrelevant in politics. And because he understands our diversity, we are about 250 ethnic groups in this country. And he has relationships virtually in all the states. and it's something that he is going to put into use, to his advantage, to the advantage of the nation. We should, as a nation, learn from each other as different communities. We should be able to visit, different communities, learn about different cultures. In my place, we have a lot of festival activities. In the south, in Calabar area, in Bayelsa area, in Lagos, in Kwara, in Sokoto, there are different, cultures, festivals, and different practices, that even can attract tourism into this country. We should put them into positive use. They should not be used to divide us. These are things that the God Almighty has bestowed on us, has given us. And I believe Asiwaju understands this. He has traditional title in virtually all the major ethnic groups here in Nigeria. In my place, he has a traditional title. In Borgu, the people who identified him as actually a leader, a really national leader. They gave him the title of Jagaban, and that's the only one he answers. That title is from Borgu Emirate.
200 of them.
And
he must have
he has so many of them.
Those titles.
Eh?
He must have about 200 of those titles.
Exactly.
But as you rightly say, he identifies and is known as Jagaban Borgu.
Jagaban. So you can see that will be used to actually knit us together as a nation. Because really at some point, I have to admit that our unity was shaken. But with this election, we are going to have a truly united Nigeria, a truly diverse Nigeria that understands its potentials, that can be used as, as a potential for attracting tourists across the world. In those days, in the 70s, we used to have, Europeans and Americans, coming into Nigeria to watch the Daba, to visit Yankari Game Reserve, to visit Argungu Fishing Festival, to visit the Obudu Cattle Ranch, the Bayelsa, Boat Regalia, and so on. So we will come to that position. I believe we will come back to that position within the first 4 years. At the end of the first 4 years, we'll be happier people than we are now. So the process continues.
Indeed. Now, another aspect of Asiwaju that I think there's so many important things that he's going to have to attend to now that we know he's the incoming president. And you've just been speaking about one aspect of them that has a number of tentacles. Well, let's talk a bit about the youth. Now, that's a key aspect. I think more than half of all Nigerians, are between, a certain age. I think it is around between the ages of 16 to 18, that kind of 18, right up to 39, 40. Forgive me if I didn't get the range exactly right, but that area shows that there are more than 60% of Nigerians that fall into that category. Now, the youth in particular, he has recently addressed them, spoken to them in a statement that he is aware of their frustrations, and that together between his administration and the youth, they will be building together a country that really, sort of reassures the youth that this one country that we all have can get to where the youths want it to be. As you probably know much well, perhaps even better than me, he's always been very highly interested in the matters of the youth. We've seen this going around universities, going around all these hostels in the past. That is something that you probably will be saying, I imagine, that the time has come for an administration to really embrace the youth and take them on. How well do you think Ashwaji will do in that regard?
Thank you. You see, the first step towards solution of a problem is to identify the problem. That's the first step. And I'm very happy that on his, election, on the day he was declared president-elect, he communicated a message to the youth that he has heard them loud and clear, and that he's going to address the problems of the youth. And the problems of the youth is essentially absence of opportunities, employment opportunities, opportunities to realize talents, opportunities to, to be what you want to be. But I have to admit, the agenda for the development, for youth development in this country will have to be, developed in conjunction with the youth. The government, the next government, his government, definitely will consult the youth on the agenda for youth development. Right now, maybe I can call myself an elder, what we think the youth want might not necessarily be what they want, but we know that they want to improve their lives. They want to have a future, they want to have great-grandchildren, they want to have a nation full of opportunities. So, how do we go about that? And what are the other things that we don't know that the youth actually will want to have? This includes, because I'm saying this because, you see, we're in the technology age. There are so many things for instance, and many of us don't know that the youth actually want. Those that are in consonance with our culture, with our tradition, with our religion, can be actually, explored. There are so many things, in the West that cannot just be imported into this country, hook, line, and sinker. We have to filter them. We have to say that this is good for you, this is not good for you. For example, like the gay movement. You can't have gay movement in Nigeria. Nobody will accept it. In Africa, you understand what I mean? Okay, now youth, what do you want? This is what we want. How do we want it? This is how we want it. You just develop a roadmap, maybe a 25-year roadmap, like the way he did in Lagos, to develop, the potentials of the youth that are unborn, even. You understand what I mean? So, in that light, I believe Asiwaju means very well and is very sincere on his agenda for the youth. I think they should embrace it wholeheartedly. They should cooperate with the government of APC to actualize youth development positively in the interest of our nation, in the interest of who we are, as diverse people. That's my view.
Exactly. So we can take it as a given then from your perspective that he will be listening to inputs from the youth. Just along the lines that you have just, he will be, his administration will be a listening administration.
Essentially, that's what I'm saying.
Now, the other thing is, I don't know if the word is reconciliation. I was saying that after elections, some feelings are hurt, and we've heard that people can go to court. But even in his speech, he was immediately inviting, look, all former contestants, that we had a vibrant contest, but he's invited all of them to come together. This fits into the mode, at least just that statement, it fits into the mode of what people who have viewed him well in Lagos, and perhaps those associates who know him better around the country as well. This whole group thing where he wants people of diverse minds, diverse talents, diverse sensibilities to come together and let's talk about this. Let's talk about this and take something out of it and maybe have a position. Do you think this is going to be Because now we're dealing on a national scale.
Yeah, indeed.
That everybody should close ranks. Talk to me about that, about the man Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
His call is evidence. It's a clear evidence that he does not have a winner takes all posture. All parts of Nigeria will be represented in his government. And he is offering the opposition parties, those who lost the elections, not to be bitter, not to feel bitter. It's generosity, inviting them to be part of the nation building process. And this is something, this is a gift. Not all politicians will say such a thing. We didn't hear Obasanjo say such things during his time. We have never heard Obasanjo inviting the opposition, for example. You know, I have to admit that. I have to say that this particular statement is a clear indication that this is a patriot that is actually pursuing an agenda of nation building by inviting those who actually contested against him to be part of his government. I think it's commendable. That should actually be celebrated, you know, in the media. But nobody is talking about it. To invite those who you defeated in the election, which was actually gallantly fought by them. If you look at it, the gaps are not as those in previous elections.
That's right.
So therefore,
closely
you know, it's something that I think we should celebrate.
One moment, please, Mr. Medugu. Mr. George in Lagos has called in. Fine morning to you, Mr. George.
Uncle Yori, good morning, and good morning to your guest.
Yes, good morning.
I want to congratulate Nigerians for voting for Asiwaju. And one thing that cannot but be recognized in this election is that from now on, religion in politics in Nigeria has been defeated. Nobody should come tomorrow and start telling us Christian ticket, Muslim ticket. If that is the only thing this election has achieved, I am personally satisfied with that. Then kudos to northern governors. The northern governors are the heroes of this election, Uncle Yori. They have proven to Nigeria that they stand for integrity, they stand for fairness, they stand for fair play, and it must be acknowledged. We want other governors to follow suit because that's the only way Nigeria can grow. Uncle Yori, I also want to let you know I'm a very, very ardent supporter of Asiwaju. I have no regret for that. But as we come to power, sir, I am going to put him on his toes. Where he does good, we will praise him for it. If he's not doing the right thing in any way, we will criticize him for it. All for the betterment of our country. I like him to build a team, as he is known for in Lagos, based on ability, not other just party considerations. I know he won't do that anyway. I want to see somebody like Governor Wike in the Ministry of Works. If you give that man, the Ministry of Works, he is most likely to do better than Governor Fashola. You know, you see what he has done in River State. Julius Berger that is doing in Lagos Ibadan Road and other roads, they don't do like that in Rivers. If it gives you contract, you must execute it within time. As well, you should also look beyond the APC party. There are many young people in other parties that I see can exhibit certain abilities. Some of them are abroad. Let them come home. Everybody that knows he has something to offer Nigeria, let him come now. This is the time to build this country.
Indeed.
Yeah, so, Uncle Yori, the last I would like to say is about elections in Lagos, the one for governorship. What I am hearing and what I saw during these elections is not tidy. Asiwaju's election or campaign was based on his achievements in Lagos that made Lagos the 5th largest economy in Africa today. The critical infrastructure in Lagos cannot be given to someone that is not able to carry it forward. What I'm hearing, ethnicity that is playing out in Lagos must not be allowed to stand in the interest of development, peace, and tranquility. The last, Uncle Yori, please, after the program, I advise you to telephone Emefiele, the governor of Central Bank, that he should release money. People are suffering.
Yes.
The election, Asiwaju has won the election. There was no vote buying.
Yes. Okay.
So that excuse was giving us that there will be vote buying as if he's a chairman of INEC.
All right.
We want our money. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mr. George. Mr. Medugu, you heard all of that, and he touched on Lagos, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's home state. He touched on Lagos and made a few comments in there. Going by the results of the election, of course, you know, Asiwaju himself popularized Olule. Now, people were able to use Olule, say Asiwaju self Olule in Lagos. That is on the presidential election. And now we're going into the governorship election. Do you expect that pattern to continue? The numbers that were garnered by the party that won, you know, it's democracy. And he himself was quick to come out and say he accepts the results of the election. And if he narrowly lost, that should not be the cause of violence or, you know, dissatisfaction up to the level of violence. So as we are going towards the 11th of March, when there will be another election, there have been some unsavory, you know, kind of rumblings. You know, this must all be, you know, resolved amicably and peacefully. Do you think that your party is up to that task?
Yes, APC, we have many governors who are going for second term, and we also have many governors that have ended their second terms and have produced credible successors. And in some states, definitely there will be alliances. There's a third force that came on board this election this year. That's the Labour Party. So we cannot ignore the potency of the Labour Party, their strength, and their acceptability among certain group of Nigerians. I believe the next election will see alliances even with the Labour Party in some states, because it's about governorship and House of Assembly. Some states that have, we know weak candidates can actually venture into alliance with the Labour Party to come up with a winner. And once that works, I think we will have some even more governors than we had. We're having now. So in that light, I would like to suggest that the next election shall be based entirely on merit, not on religious line, not on ethnic line, entirely on merit. If a governor has performed like my governor in Borno State, give him chance. And it is, I think, even very rude to contest against him. Commend him and give him chance, you know, so that he can do better. You know, that's number one. Number two, if governors that have performed woefully, in some states, for example, some governors have, despite the fact that there were bailout funds, there was the Paris Club refunds, they were unable to, in fact, as up to the election, they have been unable to pay their salaries in arrears of sometimes 6 months, sometimes 8 months, you know. So these governors shall not be re-elected, and they should not, you know, have their their nominated successors elected, because there is not much different from them. Unfortunately, we don't have any APC governor that is owing that much. And as a party man, I would say that Nigerians should vote APC all across the line. in this.
In any
Because,
case, the results are there in Lagos. I beg your pardon. I was going to say the results are there in Lagos if it is needed. But Reverend Dominic, first of all, thank you very much for holding on all that while, sir. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Yori. Yori, I want to congratulate Aswaju for this hard-earned victory. But, Yori, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Congratulations, Yori. But I want to say this. You know my emotion about this election. One thing I love about this man, Yori, after a few hours of declaring him a winner, it has started working as a president. How? I heard his speech that day. They have also formed a committee, a strong segment committee in APC to go and reach out to his opponent in FP, in PDP. How they take it, I don't know. But that's supposed to be a mind of a man who is prepared on stage. And number two, I know, I have heard his speech, his last night, some of that tension that APC put all of us. Now, look at the speech. The speech is that this man understands that never in the history of Nigeria have we had an election that is well contested. And everybody minds on it. Every three of them, the PDP, the FP, the APC candidate, got 12 states. It have not happened in the history of Nigeria. It's well contested. It means this, that everybody in this nation wanted a change. The truth must be said, I'm a part of APC. APC have put us in a hard, terrible tension pain, including Aswadi. So most people could have liked that APC should go advance it and let their lesson. But thank God for the personality of Aswadi. The winner of this election is not APC. And I say boldly, the winner of this election, according to INEC, is Aswaju Bola Tinubu. His character, his personality, and he brought it to bear. He has hit the ground running by trying to reconcile Nigeria. We are divided. I have not seen a nation divided like Nigeria now. And thank God Aswaju knows it. By his countenance, he's not celebrating so much, he's not laughing so much, but he tried to know that we have been wounded every corner, and he has come to reconcile. Whatever happens from now, is God knows everything, but he's now, the president-elect. I want to preach everybody to be calm. After election, as I said last week, there will be a Nigeria. Congratulations again, but let's not celebrate so much. Try to counter another person. This election is well contested, and you'll be 100% well.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. And Mr. Bashir Maidugu will...